Welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel. Today we've got a fun project to take care of, something that we actually did expect to happen here. I was just kind of waiting to find out what the extent of the problem would be and kind of come up with some solutions to fix it. So today we're going to put a temporary patch on the driveway, and we're going to come up with some more permanent solutions that we'll handle later on this year or early next year. Let's take a look at what happened here. We've had rain here in Michigan for what feels like forever. It's been raining and thunderstorming. There's been just storm after storm. The driveway up here on the hill has been taking a beating. And so let's go take a look at what happened. So one of the things that we knew when we first moved in here was the challenge that this driveway had been for the previous owners, and that we would need to take care of it. It would be something we would need to deal with. We're down a hill here, so we got all this pavement up by the house, and all the water that runs off of all the roofs of the house comes down these downspouts here, and then it all pours out and it runs right down on this half of the driveway. So it seems to be sloped, this way, and then we get a trench right here. And you can see this driveway has been paved several times. It used to be cement at one point, from what I understand, and then they blacktopped over it, and so you can see that here. And then it just got all eaten away. You can see it eroded right through that asphalt and underneath it. And this was all just a really thin, I think, kind of a poor job. But this has been eroded away, and then it had a bunch of holes and problems in it, and so they covered the whole thing with gravel, and so that's kind of what we're dealing with. So this kind of all runs down the driveway here. Some of it just kind of spills out into this flatter area. Some of it kind of pushes some gravel, every which way. But at this point, it kind of levels out and spreads out, so it's not too bad. But a lot of the water then from the driveway areas up here ends up, you can see it here, it's kind of sloped down this way. So all along the driveway gets this huge trench, and it just keeps eroding out underneath the edge of it here. And I can't really see the edge of the pavement. Looks like maybe it was up here a little ways, but it just has eroded this out so much then it starts to eat underneath. And I think that's the problem that they have had here for years, was all that kind of erosion out from underneath the driveway. Then it just caves in and cracks. Travels down here, we got water dumping down into this kind of deep ditch, and this is where the major part of the problem exists. So you can see the pavement underneath the edge of it here dumping into this little ditch that they have made, and this huge asphalt embankment. So it looks like this is probably where the driveway, I bet you, completely washed out at a few different times in the history of this place. And they've tried to fix it, which actually this has been working pretty good. But this has a huge ditch that goes all the way up to a huge farm field, and there's just an enormous amount of runoff from that farm field up there that all comes down into the woods right here, comes through this trench, pounds right into the side of the driveway here. So this little deflector has been working well, though, I think. And so this has deflected the water down along the side of the driveway, and it looks like they tried to put a lot of asphalt in here that I think was actually a pretty good solution. And so I think if we just get the water directed down into this ditch here, that it'll be okay. A lot of debris that was left in the ditch that needs to be cleared out here. This is pushing the water back up onto the driveway and forcing it underneath in different areas. So we want to fix that. And it looks like here it's forcing a little bit of erosion off to the side underneath here as well. And so we want to see if we can get that taken care of. But I think if we keep the water flowing straight down here, it'll solve a lot of the problems. What happened was this got filled and then pushed the water out into the trench here, or into the middle of the driveway, which created all these trenches. It looks like they've, filled holes in the past with bricks and stones, and looks like some wood in there, and all kinds of other things. They've tried to solve this issue. But most of our driveway, most of the gravel from the driveway that all eroded out of here, you'll see these holes. This is a sign of past erosion that's been uncovered here. But most of the gravel from the driveway up at the top has ended up down here. So most of our driveway is at the bottom of the hill. So today, as I said, we're going to do some quick patches. This was the first couple weeks we've had of some really good storms, and I was interested to see how things would kind of play out here and what the problems would be. And so now I can go and kind of address those. So we've got some ditch cleanup to do. That'll be done by hand. Neighbor very graciously offered me to use his mini excavator across the street, but I think with the place that this is and with the pavement being under there, I want to leave that asphalt in there and just kind of gently clean off the leaves and gravel. So I'll just do it by hand for those spots. So we've got some areas that we'll need to put some rocks in. I've got a lot of rocks and asphalt pieces around here that will kind of try to slow the water down going through that ditch with some of that stuff. Let the water still flow through, but just slow it down as much as we can. And of course we have to get a lot of that gravel and dirt from the bottom of the driveway back up to the top and then kind of spread it down and smooth everything back out. So that's the job for today. So let's get the tractor out and start to get to work here. All right, let's take a look at and see how things turned out. Take a close look here. It's not too bad. This little trench here that was here before, I may come back and just rake this up a little bit, but this is pretty good. Good enough for now. So this part here, I still want to add some more rocks to this and just build this up, but ultimately I need to put some kind of a cement ditch in here, or asphalt kind of ditch in here. I think that's going to be the ultimate solution for this side of it. So water should be able to run down here, and these rocks, all they're trying to do is just slow the water down and prevent as much erosion from happening. Most of my problem was the leaves, and all the leaves that I didn't have a chance to clean out because we moved in November. So, and I had to fill all the trenches are all filled in and graded over. So I'm gonna let this pack down through here for probably the week, and then next week I'll come out here with the tractor again and I'll regrade it. So what I always try to do with the driveway is create a crest in the middle. I don't want all the water running off one way. I want the water to kind of run off this way a little bit and this way a little bit. I don't want it perfectly flat. I just want a little bit of a slope. So it's not perfect. Obviously up there's more of a slope than in other places, but as I get more material brought in and continue to grade this out, we'll shape it a little better. The ditch kind of flattens out down here because there's another problem. Nowhere for the water to go. As you can see, this is the road uphill from our house. There is no ditches. There are no ditches in this road, and so this is a problem for the road commission too. They have to come in here and re-level this out all the time because this all washes away, just like my driveway. And what the ultimate solution is to have a culvert put in and have a ditch dug.
Dad, this is just like the rain, except maybe heavier when the tornado siren went off.
It's raining pretty hard.
It seems heavy.
Look at it. Look at on the roof. It's just blasting right over the gutters. So this upper section here after that storm, it looks like this part here is going to be an issue. I almost wish that we had this was all asphalt right up on this area, and maybe that's something we could do is just get the top area re-asphalted. But the ditch along the side here worked really well. All those rocks, kind of slowed that water down a little bit and prevented a lot of that erosion. So I think that's going to be a win. I may come back and add some more actually. This all stayed intact pretty well, and it actually kind of cleaned out my trench, so any of the stuff that I had left in there kind of washed that all away. Everything worked great until it got to the bottom, and this is the part we don't really have an answer for yet, but we'll keep just kind of fixing it for now whenever we get bad rainstorms like that. But it just poured out here and comes across the driveway because that's the way it's sloped. There's no ditch to dump the water into, and there's no culvert underneath the driveway. There's just nowhere for the water to go once it gets here. And so all in all, the fixes worked really well. So there are lots of ways to fix this issue. There's lots of things that can be done. Love to hear from you guys actually, on some of you guys who've dealt with maybe something like this on some ideas. We could add drains, we could add more asphalt, we could do a cement or asphalt type of a ditch and just make it bigger. We could add some 8-inch, or 7-inch or 6-inch drains here with like little sewer areas along the way, little like drain covers, where the water could pour into. But for now, the plan, until we hit the lottery and can really fix this thing, if we really wanted to fix it right, we'd repave the whole thing and put drainage in everything. That is extremely expensive. And so I don't think that we're gonna be doing that anytime soon. So until we hit the lottery, we will continue to get the tractor out when we have big issues like this, big storms that come through, and we'll grade the driveway. Not the end of the world. We've got lots of rocks around here we can use to kind of plug up things and keep working through the issue. But sometimes you got to deal with what you got. We knew this was going to be part of something we're going to have to deal with, which was one of the reasons we got the tractor right away. So there are lots of advantages and disadvantages to living up here on the hill. Obviously, dealing with runoff and dealing with the driveway to get up to the house is one of the disadvantages. It certainly is an extra thing to care for. And with the elevation here, the water runs fast and you get a lot of runoff, and that's just going to be an issue, something you have to deal with. But the advantages so far outweigh the disadvantages. I mean, living up here with the elevation and with all the hills, all of our animals stay so dry. It rains, it might be a little bit muddy for a day or two, but then everything just dries out because all that water just runs right away. It goes down to the pond, you know, it moves out of here, it has places to go. And that is such a huge advantage or step up from the last place that we lived, where it was completely flat and all the water just sat everywhere. There was just, it was no relief from it. It just sat there. It didn't go anywhere. I had so many drainage issues at the old property because the land was so flat. It was just puddles and ponds and everything just filled up with water, and it just sat there for sometimes weeks or months. You know, we'd had wet spots and muddy spots and stuff. So it's nicer living up here for sure, but we'll deal with the driveway for now. Don't forget to hit thumbs up on today's video. Let me know what you guys think. It was a lot of fun kind of seeing how the drainage all was going to work and what the issues were, getting the tractor out and fixing some things. And so I'm sure it'll be a lot more fun to have as we deal with this issue. So if this is your first time here, I'd love to have you subscribe, tag along, do lots of DIY projects and homesteading and gardening and sustainable living type things. And so we'd love to have you tag along. Don't forget to hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you get notified when we post new content. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.